The movie opens with a news anchor talking about an alien invasion of Earth. However, there's a ray of hope as a human army, equipped with new mechanical suits, wins a major battle in Verdun. Rita Vertowski, a skilled Special Forces soldier, becomes a hero for taking down hundreds of alien creatures known as mimics. Major William Cage, a U.S. Army officer, is also in the news, promoting Rita's bravery and the war effort. Cage is sent on a helicopter ride to London, thinking he'll meet General Brigham to improve their public image. But to his surprise, the general orders Cage to join the first wave of troops landing in France and cover the event for the media. The problem is, Cage has no combat experience and tries to use the media to blackmail the general. However, the general doesn't budge and has Cage arrested. Later, Cage wakes up at Heathrow Airport, now a military base. A sergeant insults him, and then another named Farrell takes charge. The general has demoted Cage from officer to private on Farrell's orders. Cage is now part of an unusual group of soldiers called the J Squad, which includes Ford, Griff, Kimmel, Skinner, and Dan. Farrell finds them gambling, and it's Cage's first time meeting them. Farrell makes the J Squad eat the cards they played with, and then he asks them to prepare Cage for tomorrow's mission. On Invasion Day, Cage is extremely nervous. Although given a suit, the J Squad doesn't bother teaching him how to properly use his gun, believing he'll die quickly. During their aircraft drop onto the French coast, the back of their airship explodes, causing them to land prematurely. The mimics are well prepared and ambush the humans, resulting in many casualties. Rita also lands on the beach but is killed within minutes. The rest of the J Squad members meet a quick demise as well. In shock and near death, Cage grabs a claymore mine when a giant blue mimic attacks him. The mine explodes, taking both Cage and the blue mimic's life. Imagine Cage, all covered in the creepy alien slimy blood. In the next scene, he wakes up on top of the duffel bags, freaking out. Oh no, that means Sergeant is back, insulting him again. Farrell takes him back to J Squad, even though Cage desperately tries to explain what's happening and warns them about the mimic's ambush. But no one believes him. Now, brace yourself, he keeps waking up again and again, facing the same danger repeatedly. But here's the cool part. With each loop, he gets better at saving his friends, especially Rita. In one loop, he pulls off a daring rescue, saving Rita from a ship that's about to explode. She's sharp and figures out what's going on too. Rita asks Cage to find her every time he wakes up before they face doom again. Cage finds himself waking up again on the duffel bag. Understanding the importance of finding Rita, he chooses to cooperate with Sergeant Farrell and the J Squad to gain some extra time for the search. Though he tries a couple of times to slip away unnoticed, his efforts don't succeed until he manages to break free at last. Finally, he tracks down Rita in a training hangar, where they are surrounded by training drones. At first, Rita keeps her distance, but when Cage explains everything, she takes him to meet Dr. Carter. He's a super smart expert in mimic biology. And guess what? Rita reveals she was also stuck in a time loop because of the blood of that big blue alpha mimic. Dr. Carter has this wild theory that all mimics are like one super alien brain, the Omega. He even made a device that can find the Omega by using an alpha mimic. To end the loop and find the Omega, they have to survive the big invasion tomorrow. And get ready for the intense part. Rita starts training Cage, yes, training. She helps him get better, even if it means, well, having him reset a few times. Don't worry, he wakes up again. In one loop, Cage gets badly hurt, and Rita tells him to make sure he dies completely so the loop can break. That's how she got out of it after a human blood transfusion. Hold on tight because it's gonna get even crazier. After one of Cage's deaths, he has an astonishing vision. He sees the Omega hiding in a dam in Germany. Rita and Carter believe that Cage's visions are a result of him getting infected with the blue blood and transforming into an alpha. They team up to survive the invasion, getting better at fighting on the beach. However, despite their efforts, they keep dying, and Cage keeps experiencing the same events over and over. As he witnesses Rita's repeated deaths, it takes an emotional toll on him, and he starts developing feelings for her. In one loop, Cage gives up and attempts to escape the base, hoping it will break the loop. Unfortunately, it doesn't work as the mimics quickly find and kill him, causing the loop to start again. After numerous tries, they manage to make it inland. They find a helicopter in a farmhouse, but Rita realizes that Cage wants her to stay there to protect her, leading to a confrontation. Cage admits they've been to the farmhouse multiple times, and each time, Rita dies. In an attempt to save her, he decides to go alone. When Rita asks him why he cares so much, Cage struggles to find the right words. Rita understands Cage's attraction to her but remains focused on the mission. Rita is taken aback, and with a deliberate motive, she leads them into a situation that results in their deaths. In the following loop, Cage then chooses not to seek her out and heads alone to the German dam. However, he finds nothing, and an Alpha attacks him, attempting to strip him of his time resetting ability. Cage deliberately drowns himself. In the next loop, Cage, Rita, and Carter put their heads together to decipher the visions. They realize that the Verdun victory was a trap orchestrated by the Omega Overmind to lure human armies into Europe for an ambush and annihilation. Carter's device, which got him fired, holds the key to their salvation, but it's not fully ready and lacks some essential components. Despite this setback, they now know what to do. Rita and Cage shift their focus to acquire the missing equipment from General Brigham, who possesses it. After facing numerous challenges and failed attempts, Cage and Rita infiltrate the Ministry of Defense. Cage persuades Brigham to hand over Carter's prototype device that can find the Omega. They finally manage to get the device and stab it into Cage's leg. However, Cage now finally sees the true location of the Omega. The monster resides under the Louvre Pyramid in Paris. As they attempt to escape from the Allied headquarters, their getaway car crashes, and the airbag knocks out Rita before she's able to kill Cage. In the next scene, Cage wakes up in a hospital. He realizes that he is out of the loop now. Since he has been given a blood transfusion, he has lost the ability to loop time forever. Rita frees them, but with no more loops and only a few hours left in the invasion. Cage returns to the base and finds the J-Squad. They recruit the J-Squad to help destroy the Omega before the invasion begins. Once they get there at the Louvre, the mimics attack their airship, and in the ensuing firefight, a tragic outcome unfolds as half of the J-Squad loses their lives. Cage, Rita, and the 3 remaining J-Squad members decide to use the remaining engine power to slide the airship into the museum. The rest of the J-Squad sacrifice themselves to buy time for Cage and Rita so that they can make it into the museum. Once they finally get there, Rita tells Cage that she will distract the patrolling Alpha Mimic, while he will go and detonate a grenade belt on the Omega, which is submerged underwater at the bottom of the Louvre. Before luring away an Alpha, standing between them and the submerged Omega, Rita kisses Cage to thank him for getting her as far as he did. After a brief chase, the Alpha captures and kills Rita, while Cage dives underwater to get to the Omega. The Alpha dives after Cage and stabs him, but Cage keeps it together, pulls out all the grenade pins, and drops the belt into the Omega. The Omega explodes and dies, and with it, all the mimics die. As Cage dies, the Omega's blood seeps into him. He wakes up in shock and finds himself on the helicopter ride to London from the morning before the invasion. But this time, he awakens in an alternative history. In this alternative timeline, he watches the news, where the general announces that after a mysterious explosion in Paris, the mimics are all dead, and the human forces will begin sweeping through Europe the next day. As Cage arrives at the base, he's relieved to see that all the members of the J-Squad are safe and well. He goes in search of Rita, but to his surprise, she doesn't recognize him and treats him with the same coldness, just like in their previous encounters in the time loop. When he approaches her, she asks, "Yes, what do you want?" And Cage responds with a warm smile. The movie ends here. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe Mango Recap for more video like this and help the channel grow.